Thank you to Simon and Makita. So cute, you two. Now, to my final guests. Blondie's Debbie Harry has created some of the most successful and best-loved pop songs of all time. We are absolutely thrilled that alongside artist and director Roth, she's here today to tell us more about the band's incredible story and her long-awaited memoir, Face It. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you so much for being here. So, Debbie, you said that it was a difficult choice, a difficult book to write, or a challenging book to write. What made you choose to do it?
Well, as Chris says, it's better than a face tattoo.
Okay. And Rob, you are the artistic director. Let me get this properly. Creative director behind Blondie Stage Projections.
Yes, I do like
and what was the artistic concept for the book? Because it's kind of interesting. It's like based around fan art, right?
Yes.
Well, that's part of it. What I told HarperCollins when we went in is the idea is that someone would take the book off of, in America, it's Barnes & Noble, I don't know what your equivalent is here, but like a bookstore, draw in it and put it back on the shelf, which is quintessentially punk to me.
Yes.
So that was the kind of loose idea.
So there's a freedom,
design.
and then you've woven the stories and kind of memoir around those images.
Well, I think it was sort of the reverse.
Yeah, it was after. I had read it, and then she allowed me to go through her personal photos, family photos, and I kind of tried to find a story within that.
That works with all the different images. Beautiful. Now, Debbie, you have said that in your early years that you had a loving family, a really happy family life, but you never felt comfortable. You felt quite different. You were always trying to fit in. How do you think that has played out throughout your life?
I feel that that's a fairly common thing, with kids, that they're, very often unable to find themselves. And I was one of those kids. So, I always felt that I wanted to be an artist.
Yes.
And so that's what I did.
And do you feel that when you found that kind of creative nub, when you found that connection, did that kind of bring you into yourself and give you your confidence that you needed?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But it didn't happen overnight, and I'm sort of satisfied with, I should be more than satisfied with, the way things have gone. I never expected, quite such a big world for me, and it's been wonderful. It's very exciting.
You talk about, in the book, you describe New York in the early 70s, and it just sounds like this incredible place to be. There's the Ramones, there's the Talking Heads, there's Joan Jett, there's music, there's artists, there's Andy Warhol. I mean, it just sounds incredibly exciting. At the time, was that just your life, or did it feel exciting?
Oh, well, I think it was a dream come true, in many ways, because that's what I wanted to do. It didn't seem like, it was just, I don't know, the way it was. I don't think I walked around thinking how exciting this is. It was just sort of, well, this is great. This is,
in the
what's
place
happening.
you were meant to be as well. And when did you first meet Chris?
1973 at a little bar called the Boburn Tavern. And we were doing a performance, and he was in the audience. And I met him afterwards. And then shortly thereafter, he became a part of the band. I'm
really intrigued, actually, by your musical process. And you talk about, because the sound of Blondie is so identifiable, right, guys? It's like a clear, you know that's a Blondie track. And there's a kind of lyrical poetry to it, but there's this raw energy. That's the thing that's always attracted me to the music that you make. And I was so interested in the book to read about how your singing, your method singing.
Oh, yeah.
That's so fascinating to me. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, please?
Well, I think if you watch any of the contest shows where people get up and sing other people's material, very often they have great technique and they sing really beautifully, but there's no real connection to the material. And I think that a lot of times you'll hear in the critique, well, we loved your abilities, but what did the song mean to you?
Yeah.
And so that was sort of about, what the method is about, that you have to find something within yourself that relates to what's been written, and you have to sort of pull that together. And it is like a method performance. And I, for one, don't feel that I have the greatest technique, but I do have the ability to make that connection.
Yeah, and I think that's what really strikes the audience. Certainly for me as a young girl, when I saw you guys and heard you guys performing, it was a visceral response. You know, it's just like, oh my God, it's hit me right there. And I think that's a wonderful and really intriguing way to approach the music, actually. So, and working with Chris, how do you go about? What's your process? Do you create things together at the same time? How does it work for you?
Well, now, because we're not living together for many years, he will, work on a track or an idea, and we'll talk about it, or he'll email it to me, and I'll give a listen, and then we'll talk again, and I'll say, well, I have a few ideas, and he'll, either poo-poo it or say, yeah.
Oh, go along. And the Blondie image that you created, it's so iconic, it's so powerful. I feel like you've always been very in control of that, and it's really, what were you trying to achieve with that image?
Well, I don't know. In the very beginning, it was just my comfort zone, and something that I felt was beautiful, and sort of what I really went for in the very beginning was something that would be very familiar with everyone and be something that was already in their minds, an idea that they had already accepted or, disliked or whatever, just something that was already built in, and then, to take it from there in my own direction.
The echoes of Marilyn Monroe, and then this kind of raw punk ethic with it.
I felt something like, to do a more cinematic image in front of a band.
Yeah.
And I think that as a child, I always wanted to be a movie star.
Yeah.
I said, well, I want to be a movie star. So it just sort of was instinctive in a way.
It should be said she's a really good actor, too.
She is a very good actor, yeah.
Nah.
Is that something you love to do?
I do, actually. It's kind of, for me, I get to be in the hands of a director, and I don't have to, I contribute, of course, whatever my interpretation or background, behind a role. But then, it's really to be in the hands of a director that you admire and love their work is a great feeling.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the stage. I wish we had more time. I have so many questions to ask you, but it's wonderful to meet you. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you both for coming, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.